It's an honor to be granted a personal audience. I am Giliath Osborne, representative of the Imperial Government. My apologies for the abrupt intrusion. Welcome back, my adoring public, to more Trails in the Sky the Third. Pharaoh Fiasco here. As you probably saw, we unlocked Celeste, or at least an after image of Celeste the Osleys. So she's hanging out with us, but right now, hey, Zine was saying something kinda cool earlier. He says this place is perfect for martial arts training. Huh. I might not be into the same combat style as him, but I'm not gonna say no to a chance to get stronger. Say, you wanna join me for some sparring later, Zine? Sure thing. Alright. Zine told me this place is probably perfect for martial arts training, and I'm always up for a chance to get my training on. Better take advantage of it while we're still here. I'm just mulling over all Celeste told us about Phantasma earlier. It's strange to think we've suddenly ended up in a world that's part of a higher plane of the universe. Thinking about it, this place is probably perfect for martial arts training. It's like being at the top of a tall mountain, isolated from the world. Alright. Oh, actually, we've got space in the party for 3 people now, outside of Kevin. They're the only ones hanging out here? Interesting. Yeah, we've only fought one battle in between drinking from the fountain, and that was against the literal mother of all spiders. Again, and I say this with emphasis, so imagine italics in your mind. F that boss fight. But we're not worried about it anymore. Who's down here? Ah. This world really does make no sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure what Celeste is saying is the truth, but it all just seems so weird. Well, whatever. Guess there's no point in me worrying about it. I'll just try and help the princess here. It's almost startling how many books are here. They don't seem to be arranged in any specific order, though. I want to think that there's more to this bookcase than meets the eye. There's probably not, though, is what she's getting at, I'm assuming. There we go. I can't believe Reese isn't a permanent party member. Do. Then with you. And you. Okay. I understood the gist of what Celeste was saying, but that doesn't really explain why there are all these books here. Especially so many of them. Something's not clicking with me. Really? Is there something suspicious about it? Oh, look at this weird one. Weird one? What's it called? From Fat to Fit by Gilbert Stein. Well, hey. These bookcases really are weird. Oh, wait. Why are there so many books here anyway? A good chunk of them are so weird, too. The more time I spend here, the more it feels like this couldn't be a collection someone had put together manually. So, I guess I did get the feeling that the books were sourced from somewhere. Especially because, as Kevin pointed out, there are like church-banned books in there. The mystery thickens. Oh, you know what? We have to check to see if Estelle and Joshua are hanging out over here. Estelle, Joshua, and Reese, because they didn't show up down there. Yep, all 3 of them even. Oh, Kevin! Are you feeling okay now? We don't want you going and collapsing again after you've only just recovered. Come on, Estelle, I'm indestructible. Pretty swell timing on my part before, huh? I didn't even get to say hi before I fell unconscious now, did I? Indeed. Everyone was shaking their heads with disappointment when you collapsed. You're supposed to be a Dominion, but you wouldn't believe it from that shameful show of weakness. Wow. I'm pretty sure everyone was just panicking, especially you, Reese. Yes, that's right. He introduced himself as this land of Phantasma's foremost guardian. Joshua, by the sounds of it, you've probably encountered him more times than I have, but... Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to make sure I'm prepared. Oh, they're thinking that it might be Weissman? I have a feeling we were given Celeste's sealing stone to unlock in order to understand the makeup of this world, which means that they wanted us to know, and may use our memories and feelings against us in new ways as a result. Perhaps the trials ahead are the whole reason they started trying to recreate parts of Liberl in here to begin with. Wow, that's dark. Oh, Reese. So how are things going between you and the others? Getting along? Yeah, we are. We had the chance to get to know one another better while you were asleep. That's good, I guess. I fully expect you to keep your promise with me, however. If you dare break it, you're going without food for a week. Ouch. I'd rather you spared me that one. Just try not to overdo it again, okay, Kevin? I mean, I still don't know a whole lot about what happened exactly, but we were all really worried about you. I think it would be best to, that we make sure everyone here is on guard for what the Lord of Phantasma may try to do. Perhaps I should be the one to do so. If the trials ahead are the whole reason the Lord of Phantasma started trying to recreate parts of Liberl in here to begin with. Well, think happy thoughts, Joshua. That'll make it all go away. Oh well. And then Mueller and Julia, really? They haven't really switched from where they've been at this whole time. As soon as I go in the right direction. How broke are we? Not super extraordinarily broke, but pretty broke. 100 Mira, dude. What a frigging joke. I never imagined that would be the origin of the cube we've been reliant on all this time. Oh, I guess in the last episode we also beat Agate in that door, but man, there were actually several hours of grinding in between those two events on my part, so that's why I didn't immediately mention it, but whatever. At least now we understand how we came to be drawn in here, to a degree. It seems like the one directly responsible for that happening was the Lord of Phantasma too. I can't wait to make them pay for what they've done. So, Father, how are you feeling now? Fine, thanks. Sorry about worrying you guys so much. Oh, don't be. I wasn't there to see you collapse, so I was simply curious how you were doing. It's not even Celeste knows how the Lord of Phantasma managed to get in here. I'm not sure any amount of speculating is going to let us reach the answer. I never would have imagined the very ghost who aided us all this time was an ancestor of the Liberlian royal family. Still, I can hardly imagine a more reassuring revelation. I'd like to think that with her help, we may be able to compete against the Lord of Phantasma after all. You should have known that with Kevin on the job, he'd never let us lose. Hello, Kevin. It sure seems like you've got quite a lot on your mind. I won't force you to tell us everything, but given that we've all been caught up in this, I think it's fair to expect some kind of explanation. And you'll get one, I promise. Hope you don't mind waiting a little bit longer. I can appreciate that someone in your line of work will have plenty of things they can't speak of freely. But given that we've all been caught up in this, I think it's fair to expect some kind of explanation eventually. I guess he would know about keeping all kinds of secrets. What kind of Erebonian need-to-know basis type stuff is... Oh, these three. Is ruminating around in that head of his. What? You've got that really rare Landmore limited edition plushie? I really want that one too. You're so lucky. I think she's probably the one least bothered about what's going on here out of all of us. I was all set on going to get that one when it came out. But then this major job came in all of a sudden and I couldn't go out and buy it. I've got lots of plushies. My room's full of them. I wish I could show you them. So she's getting along with Annalise now too? That's good. So then I decided to give him a name. I raised a cat once before too, you know. The professor called him a steel cougar, if I recall. We killed a lot of steel cougars. They are not tiny little pets. That doesn't sound like the kind of cat I'm thinking of. Okay. So their thing doesn't change, but that's cool. Alright, so with that out of the way, even though we really haven't done much, but talk to everybody. So let us go... What is it? Star Door. Apparently Star Door 8 brings me the Playful Minstrel and his closest ally. Okay. Well, by popular demand, let's go ahead and just get this one done. We gotta put you... Okay. That was 100% wrong, but why not bring Josette? She's not hurting anybody. In the most literal sense, because she's level 104. Only, wow, and Mueller's level 104 too, but... Yeah. I highly doubt there's any worse party member than Josette. And, in fact, we actually... There was a chest that I neglected to pick up. So... Yeah. Just to make sure they're not getting insta-killed. Sure. Composites. Alright. But I guess if we do any fighting with them, something seriously wrong has happened. EXP gain plus 15%? Sepith gain plus 20%? Wow, okay. And Reese too. EXP gain plus 10%, Sepith gain plus 20%. So she gives us an additional 5% EXP gain at the cost of minus 5% HP. Wow. And Ren can stay there permanently because, like I said, I've pretty much already got my final party picked out. Such is life. But they had to make whatever she's got good when it comes to giving up. Actually, hold on. What do Estelle and Joshua give? Battle HP recovery plus 3%, strength plus 2%, arts defense minus 25%. That's trash. Speed plus 3%, agility plus 10%, arts defense minus 25%. That's also trash. Okay. So that's the game nudging you just a little bit to let you know that they belong in your party. Bring to me the playful minstrel and his closest ally against the beast they seek to overcome. Only then shall the door open. Yep. Let's go ahead and see what's going on. Olivier and Mueller. Are we about to learn some of those Erebonian secrets? Here's hoping. Just the two of them with no battle. I'm on board with that. I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. Let's see what this entails. 1 month after the collapse of the Liber Arc, the banquet to celebrate the crisis' successful resolution was over, with Estelle and her friends having largely left the capital to go elsewhere. Okay, so this is after, this takes place after Chloe and Joshua's door then. One of them, however, Prince Olivert Race Arner, sat rather comfortably in the ambassador's office in Gransel's Erebonian embassy, his work in the country not quite settled. So that one guy, I can't believe that you... I mean, my deepest apologies for not noticing that you were His Highness Prince Olivert sooner. Yeah, that guy. I forget his name, though. Oh, I'm not surprised you never realized. I may be a prince, but my mother was a commoner. What point is there in bothering to remember my face? It's not as though I often showed myself in the palace or attended high society gatherings. Knowing me certainly isn't going to help you in moving up in the ranks, my friend. There's no need to be so humble, Your Highness. Besides, I'm actually rather grateful to you, Ambassador. You gave me all kinds of useful advice during my stay here at the embassy that I'm sure will be to my benefit in the future. Well-meant words such as, act like a man of the Empire for once in your life, and stop idling here, go home and try doing some damned work. Yeah, Your Highness, yeah. He knows the true measure of you, Ambassador Cranar. Your Highness, I think you've tormented him enough for one day. The ambassador behaved in the same way any other sane man would in his position. If anything, I'd say he has every right to be angry at us for keeping the truth from him for so long. No, but it's good of you to have that opinion, Major Vander. But, Mueller... I suppose you're right. I'll spare him any more teasing for now. I actually wasn't joking about being grateful to you, though. You truly have done admirable work over the past month. I have? Acting as a pipeline with the Empire, checking the safety of Erebonians residing in Liberl, helping the international liner service to resume. And those are only the tip of the iceberg. You've done so much more. You have my deepest thanks as a prince of the Empire. I am not worthy of such praise, Your Highness. You, however, deserve the utmost for braving the danger you did flying up to the Liber Ark. All of what happened seems to have caused quite the commotion in our homeland. So the people seem to be rather relieved now that they know the danger has passed. It's all thanks to your courage that they are able to rest easy. Oh, there's no point in flattering me, Ambassador. I just did what I could. Nothing more, nothing less. And I couldn't have done anything alone. All I was able to accomplish was thanks to the help of those around me. I'm fairly removed from the stereotype of Erebonians as stern, strong, and self-sufficient, if I do say so myself. As rude as it may be to agree, perhaps you're correct. And yet I believe your willingness to be flexible most definitely helped rather than hindered you here. I believe people like you are exactly what the Empire is going to need in the future, regardless of how I may feel about His Excellency the Chancellor's approach. Ambassador. Well, this is a surprise. I was under the impression that you supported the Chancellor. Then again, you are a noble. Does that lead you to oppose his reformist policies, perhaps? I may be a noble on paper, but I'm only a baron. I don't get the distinction there. All in all, I generally fall in favor of his reformist policies. Isn't Reen's dad a baron also? Yeah, Baron Theo Schwarzer. Be that as it may, while this may just be the result of being in Liberl for so long and being influenced by the ways of its people, I do sometimes find myself becoming frightened by his hardline approach. I can't help but wonder exactly what direction he's trying to take our old nation. Interesting. Your Highness? Oh, I was just thinking that I'm quite glad to have taken the chance to engage in such a fruitful talk with you just before departing the country. Are we actually going to get to see even a little bit of Erebonia during this? I pray you will continue doing all you can to ensure the peace of Liberl and its surrounding nations while I'm gone. Preferably in cooperation with Ambassador Cochrane. Yes, let's not forget her, I suppose. Still, it's true that since the non-aggression pact was signed, there has been some progress with regards to the crossbell problem. Right, progress. I suppose an Erebonian would think that. And given that it was Liberl who proposed said pact, that makes my role in future negotiations very important indeed. I presume that is what you are trying to say? You're a sharp one, my good man. Excellent. Now I can return to the capital with my mind at ease. Leave everything to me, Your Highness. I will be looking forward to hearing what you achieve back in our homeland. Are they... Where are we? Okay, this is one of the rooms at the embassy. This truly is a country like no other. I never thought that they would come and I would hear things like that from a noble of the Empire. Indeed, he's apparently somewhat less of an obstinate man than I thought he was. Perhaps this nation's very air has the power to genuinely change people. It seems to have had an effect on you, too. I feel like I'm seeing a lot more smiles from you these days than I used to. I'm loath to admit it, but that may well be true. I still find myself wishing that you would learn from Liberlian's dignity and sense of restraint, however. Two qualities you don't particularly possess in any measure. In fact, you have far too much of their opposites. You say that, but these qualities are the only weapon that I have. I don't have much that will allow me to compete against the Chancellor. I need to use what little happens to be tucked in my corner as best I can. So, He is staunchly opposed to old blood and iron, which we already knew, but hearing him say that out loud in confidence to Major Vander, it's different. Have there been any changes to our plans? None. We should be able to proceed as arranged. 3 days ago, the Chancellor left the capital on a tour of Eastern Erebonia. Tomorrow, you will be returning there aboard the Arsail when he's still out in the east. All those who need to be made aware of our return have been given proper notice. Your arrival in Erebonia will make a real impact. Of that, I am certain. So, does Olivier plan to debut or something? What potential obstructions to the plan are there at present? Nothing major. There have been some movements in the Intelligence Division's 4th subdivision, but not much. There's a chance that everyone is being cautious because the Arsail is involved. But I'd put greater odds on the idea that everyone is just treating this as a pompous performance by you and not taking it seriously. Well, they'd be right to. It is. I have no choice but to start here, even if it means I have to use Liberl. And if I'm going to put on a show, why not put on the finest one the skies have ever seen? I suppose I can't argue that. Who's this gonna be? Ambassador Cochrane. Nope, young man. I'm sorry to trouble you at this late hour, Your Highness. A message has arrived for you from Heimdall. What would you have me do? Really? Alright, come in. Pardon me. Is that Lecter? Well, if it isn't Lecter, I was wondering where you'd been. I haven't seen you all day. I've been exceptionally busy with work since this morning, I'm afraid. I guess, this would be more of a surprise if we weren't already fully aware of who Lecter really is. He's He's, I'm wondering how I should say. Okay, well, I guess, suffice it to say, it's pretty clear that since Olivier is staunchly opposed to Chancellor Osborne, he's being played pretty excellently right now by Lecter. I'd hoped to be able to come and see you earlier since you will be leaving tomorrow. I'm terribly sorry for not being able to. Huh, oh, never mind that. If that work of yours is done now, we three could always enjoy some sensual quality time together for the remainder of the night. So, what was the message from the Capital Secretary? They've acknowledged the receipt of His Highness's message. However, they didn't anticipate that you may be able to arrive all the way from Grancel in less than half a day. As such, they're currently in a minor panic trying to ensure everything's ready for the ceremony tomorrow. Okay, ceremony. So he is going to do something official. That doesn't come as a surprise. There's nothing like the Arsail when it comes to speed at home. How cruel you both are for so deftly ignoring my proposal. Although it sounds as though the stage will be set in time. Now I need to decide on an outfit that will leave everyone's jaws on the floor to sweeten my arrival. You've only got the two, so... Perhaps a glistening coat and white loincloth will do the trick. Ugh. That'd make a grand impact, alright. I almost wish I could go along and see it myself. Please don't encourage him. You show remarkable promise for someone so young. What do you say to coming back on the Arsail with me? I'd welcome your company. Your work here in Liberl is just about done as it is, isn't it? Your offer is certainly tempting, but I'm afraid I have another job to take care of soon. The thought is appreciated, of course. Really? Well, that is a shame. Good luck with that next job of yours. Thank you. Well, if you'll excuse me. I can only wonder what that next job of Lecter's is. Are they gonna reveal they know? So, that is Second Secretary Lecter Arundel? Is it safe to assume he's one of the Chancellors? Almost definitely, yes. Oh, so they're not being played even a little bit. He came through Hawking Gate on foot and took up his new position at the embassy a month ago. And right around the same time, we headed to the Liber Arc aboard the Arsail at that. There's no way that could possibly be coincidence. No, it couldn't. The most likely possibility seems to be that he's part of the Intelligence Division. Are you sure not doing anything regarding him all this time was a good idea? Oh, absolutely! We needed some way to find out what the Chancellor was up to after all. We'll probably get some kind of reaction from the Chancellor through his reports at some point. Probably in about 2 weeks when the Chancellor's tour is finished. You'd planned that far ahead all along, had you? Well, in that case, I'll be sure that we're ready. I'll be counting on you, love. Oh. Something the matter? Not really. It's just that the moon has come out. And what a beautiful full moon it is. What if we'd switched to... That's different. It's strange to think that this will be the last time we'll see the moon from here. Truth be told, I'm going to miss it. Well, well, it looks like putting a smile on your face a little more often isn't the only thing Liberal's done for you. It's opened up your eyes to life's natural beauty as well. But in all seriousness, we'll just have to do all we can to be able to come back and see it again one day. While we're both still alive. Indeed. Wow. Are they about to do something super risky? There can't be the next morning. I was about to say, that can't be all there is to it. So now we're about to visit Chloe and the Queen? Yep. And Cassius too. Awesome. So yeah, he put on his only other outfit. Your Majesty, Your Highness, I humbly thank you both for your generous hospitality during my stay in your fine kingdom. You were even gracious enough to humor my brazen request of escorting me back to Heimdall aboard the Arsail. The debt I owe you will be repaid many times over in the future. Rest assured of that. Oh, you needn't think of this as anything we went out of our way for. Escorting an honored state guest back home is a matter of course. Particularly a guest to whom we owe a great debt of gratitude. If you ever have the opportunity, please do come back to Liberal again in the future. I imagine Estelle and Joshua will be back by then too. So we'll all be able to give you a nice warm welcome. I'm already excited for my next visit. Have they left the country yet, by the way? They're busy getting ready to leave over in Relent at the moment, I believe. I'm planning to see them off when the time comes. I see. Incidentally, while the ruins of Hamel are currently sealed off, I'll do what I can on my end to ensure they are allowed inside. Could I trouble you to pass that along to them? Certainly. So, Olivier is the one who facilitated the end scene of the previous game? Thank you very much, Your Highness. Oh, think nothing of it! It's the least I can do after all they've done for me. I owe you a great deal too, Cassius. If not for your assistance, stopping that armored division from crossing into Liberal wouldn't have been as simple as it was. I could say the same to you. Still, as I'm sure you're aware, the outcome will have been well within the realm of possibility for the Chancellor. I doubt he was even surprised by the incident. Really? Most likely not. Erebonia had nothing to gain from using that situation to occupy Liberal. Certainly not to the extent that it would be worth going out of their way to develop inefficient steam tanks. The only reason I can see for him doing what he did was as a show of power to surrounding nations, a statement that even without Orbital power, Erebonia's army could still act. I indeed suspect that was his true aim all along. Goodness. So you did notice. The orbital shutdown phenomenon was a complete unknown to the rest of the continent. Perhaps it might never occur again, but there's always the chance it might, whether it's here or somewhere else entirely. I hear the Empire only built a relatively small number of those tanks in all too, certainly not enough to launch a full-scale invasion. By the sounds of it, they were just put together in Reinford's factories using parts intended for standard orbital tanks. Should Vander and Olivier be telling all of this to the heads of what is ultimately a rival nation? They must really not like Chancellor Osborne. But as it stands, the know-how to put together tanks like that only exists in the Empire. And in these unpredictable times, no other nation has the time or resources to try and develop extremely inefficient steam-powered weaponry. In a sense, because of what just happened, the Imperial Army's effect as a deterrent is even greater than ever. He is using war as a diplomatic tool, And very effectively at that. None of this had even occurred to me. I have a long way to go before I'm fit to be the ruler of this country. Don't beat yourself up too much about it. He's no ordinary foe to even the most hardened veterans. The Chancellor always seems to be thinking several steps ahead of the rest of the world. It's impressive, no matter what we may think of his actual ideas. Huh, I'm quite the reckless fool to be trying to challenge him if I do say so myself. Don't be silly, Your Highness. How can you say that with a smile on your face, or how you can say that with a smile on your face is utterly beyond me. You should focus on building yourself a strong foothold to begin with. I do hope you'll be careful. No matter what may occur, be sure not to lose sight of exactly where you stand. Of course, Your Majesty. If I were to go and bring shame upon myself now, I'd be wasting all the effort involved in escorting me back home. I'll be sure to take what you have said to heart. Excuse me, Your Majesty. That's gonna be Julia. No, that's what's-her-face? Hilda? Whatever is the matter? It's not often I see you so flustered. My apologies, Your Highness. It's just that a guest for you arrived all of a sudden at the castle. Ordinarily, I would not have rushed in while you were meeting with others, but the visitor is so irregular that I thought you should know at once. Irregular? How so? It sounds like it's about time I take my leave, then. Actually, the visitor said he would like to greet you as well, and not just Her Majesty. What? Is this gonna be Osborne? Hilda, just who is this visitor? Well, he introduced himself as Chancellor Giliath Osborne of the Erebonian Empire. It is gonna be him, making his first appearance, yup, with Lecter. So Lecter knew they knew, and now he's not trying to hide anymore. Wow. It's an honor to be granted a personal audience. I am Giliath Osborne, representative of the Imperial Government. My apologies for the abrupt intrusion. So you are Chancellor Osborne. Making his very first appearance chronologically, well, release-wise, I should say, in release order. And it's a pleasure to see you again as well, Your Highness. It's been a year since we last met, has it not? I hope these passing months have seen you well. Yes, a year sounds about right. Still, while I hope you'll forgive me for asking, just what did prompt someone of your stature to appear at the castle without warning? I'd very much like to hear your side of the story. My apologies, Your Highness. You see, these past few days I've been touring Eastern Erebonia on routine inspections. More like going through the places he's annexed, probably. It's been going very smoothly. More so than I had initially anticipated. I had enough free time in my schedule to pay a cordial visit. Oh my, is that so? Naturally, I would have preferred to come here while the crisis was still unfolding like you yourself did, Your Highness. Unfortunately, the confusion in Southern Erebonia was simply too pressing a matter, and I had no choice but to deal with that first. This was the first chance that presented itself to come here and meet directly with Her Majesty, so I acted with the utmost expediency. I hope you'll forgive my lack of proper decorum in failing to give advance notice of my arrival. That does make sense, at least. Regardless, please don't concern yourself with me. No doubt you wish to offer your greetings to Her Majesty. My thanks, Your Highness. This guy, he's playing 3D chess while everyone else is playing checkers, I see. Well then, allow me to extend my most heartfelt greetings to both of you, Queen Alicia and Princess Claudia. It's abundantly clear that the crisis that unfolded here has been quite the ordeal for yourselves and for your nation's people. You have my deepest sympathies for the hardships you have endured, as well as my commendation for bringing the situation under control. I thank you for your kind words, Your Excellency. If anything, we should be apologizing to you for the fact that the southern side of your nation was caught up in what should have been our problem. We should be the ones going to you, rather than having you trouble yourself to come all the way to Liberl. I beg you to accept our apologies together with my deepest thanks for coming here today. I would never ask for apologies. I've heard what happened was the work of a shadowy organization stirring up trouble within your borders. While I meant well by sending a military force to aid you, I wouldn't have done something so careless had I known the truth of the matter. My actions were rash, foolish even, and I was rightfully reprimanded by His Imperial Majesty for them. Oh my! Fortunately, His Highness the Prince was able to act with all due haste to put right my misstep before even greater harm was done. I owe you a great debt of gratitude for that, Your Highness. And congratulations besides for your part in bringing an end to the crisis. Oh, I did nothing out of the ordinary. I had a lot of help from Her Majesty, Her Highness, and Brigadier General Bright here too. So I feel like there are two separate conversations going on. There's what everybody is saying to each other, and then there's the undercurrent of what's meant by their words. Bright, you say? It's a pleasure to meet you, Your Excellency. I am Cassius Bright, a Brigadier General in the Liberalian Royal Army. Huh, the pleasure is all mine, I assure you. Your name is rather well known even in the Empire, of course. Not as much as yours is known here in Liberal, I would imagine. It's an honor to be able to speak with you in person. It's certainly a surprise to be able to, though. Coming here on a whim can't have been easy for a man as busy as yourself. It sounds as though I may have underestimated just how capable you truly are. Oh, those halcyon days when I used to think Blue Blanc and Chancellor Osborne were the same person. How naive I was back then, before I knew how big and sprawling this series was. Not at all. I was greatly impressed to see the Royal Army's effectiveness in dealing with the tumult here. Your forces have proven powerful yet flexible, capable of dealing with emergencies ably and decisively. See, that's what I was talking about. There's what he's saying, and then there's what we're supposed to take away from it. He's taken a measure of how quickly we can respond to crises and what the breadth of our defensive measurements are. I might go far as to say it embodies an ideal that the Imperial Army, with its swollen ranks, could never hope to realize. You flatter us, Your Excellency. For your part, I hear you are responsible for establishment of the Imperial Army's famed intelligence division. Our army is in desperate need of a new one of its own, so I find myself quite envious. It almost sounds as though the two of us each want what the other has. So it does. May I ask, Your Excellency, what will you be doing now? For my part, I'm intending to leave Liberal today, so I'm afraid I won't be around much longer. Yes, so I've been told. I believe you're intending to make your grand arrival in Heimdall aboard the famous Arsail. I'm impressed you're already aware. I almost wish I could return to Erebonia on board it alongside you. But alas, I'm afraid I have other business demanding my attention after I'm finished here. I'll be leaving Liberal separately this afternoon. And that is a shame. I would very much have liked to invite you to this evening's banquet. Please, you need not go to such troubles on my account. I feel as though I've put you out enough showing up unannounced as I did, to say nothing of dining with such esteemed company. Still, I do have some time before the airship I'll be leaving on is due to depart. That being the case, might I ask for a little of your time, Your Highness? I have a few things I'd like to discuss with you personally. We haven't heard anything about Queen Alicia being murdered or anything like that, so I'm assuming it's not going to go that way. Is Olivier gonna... Very well. I have some matters I would actually like to discuss personally with you as well. What a fortuitous coincidence. Okay, so Olivier was going to leave, but they don't want to get Chancellor Osborne alone with Alicia, baby? Allow me to have a room arranged for the two of you to have your discussion then. Hilda, if you would. Certainly, Your Majesty. So the famed first appearance of Giliath Osborne. Interesting. Very interesting. And yeah, Mueller completely stopped talking when Osborne showed up. Probably something to do with his actual rank. Or his station, I guess I should say, is more appropriate. Ah. It's obvious that Her Majesty is quite the tea fancier if this blend is anything to go by. The fragrance, the temperature, the taste. I'd be hard-pressed to find fault with any of it. I've always been more of a coffee man myself, but I have no doubt that I'd be content with a cup of this at my desk each morning. As much as I agree with you, I don't believe we're here to talk about beverages. So, shall we get right to the point? What did you want to discuss with me? I see your sojourn in Liberl has proven most fruitful. Pardon? When we last spoke, you struck me as a bright, flexible young man. And no doubt you still are, but now I see in you a resilient inner strength girding those aspects. I'm sure His Majesty will be most delighted with your personal development. Meanwhile, I see you're the same fearless man I've always known you to be. More so, even. That crushing aura about you seems to have only grown with time. It's as if you feed on the resentment of those who live in the territories you annex. Such harsh words, Your Highness. Personally, I prefer the term political unification. Annex can carry such negative connotations, you know. Since the end of the 100 Days' War, our army hasn't committed a single act of aggression. All our unifications have been entirely peaceful. Right. There's a certain bird of prey who would disagree and who's working to actively end you as we speak, but let's not worry about that right now. Oh, you're quite right about that. On the surface. Oh? It's amazing how similar the annexation process is every single time it happens. It starts with a small nation or independent state with an array of problems beyond repair. Those problems start to worsen, after which Jaegers and other dangerous elements enter, plunging public order to an all-time low. Desperate for a solution, the local government requests the help of the Imperial Army. Before they know it, they're part of the Empire. Well, it's not as though I can deny what you're saying. Each instance does share certain commonalities. Still, it's to be expected, an inevitable consequence of the age of unchecked growth and progress in which we live. The Imperial Army is simply acting in the Empire's best interests, hoping to stabilize our neighbors for the good of the Empire. And it's understandable that they would. I do find myself rather curious why Intelligence Division members are going to such nations with such peculiar frequency. Well before the problems I described worsen, no less. I won't press as to where you came by such information, as curious as I am. But I will say this. At its most basic level, these actions are about risk management. It's because we've been acting to minimize such risks beforehand that the army has been able to successfully quell each problem in turn. With the small price of earning the disdain of the people in those nations and an increased risk of terrorism in exchange. To tell you the truth, I'm rather astounded that you had the courage to come here to Liberl all on your own to begin with. After all, you've earned yourself the biggest target for terrorists in all of Liberl, or in all of Erebonia, rather. Your concern is touching, Your Highness. I would ask that you not trouble yourself with my safety. I employ some very skilled subordinates tasked primarily with eliminating the risk of terrorist attacks against me. And their name, well, it's either going to be Ouroboros or the Blood and Irons. The Ironbloods, rather. Really now? That Lecter is one of those, I assume? A rather peculiar fellow, isn't he? But a very useful one all the same. Working out the scheduling for this trip and taking all the necessary precautions to ward off terrorist threats were both his doing. And thanks to his commendable efforts, I can depart for Crossbell free from worries as soon as I finish my business here. Crossbell? Are you surprised? I'll be participating in a top-secret discussion with a representative of the Crossbell government. What was his name? Mayor Rock something? Or President Rock something? President Rockwell, maybe? It was that blonde dude. Recently, a large amount of funding has been flowing into the country through Republican channels, putting our allies on the defensive. I'd always meant to visit at some point, and this seemed the perfect opportunity. Are you out of your mind? Crossbell is full of enemies and different factions at each other's throats! I hear it's now even a hotbed for terrorists and criminal organizations because of its position as a buffer state. Does that really sound like a place the Erebonian Chancellor should be going even on an unofficial visit? I'm surprised to hear you advocating caution in the face of potential danger, Your Highness. After all, it was you who flew onto an ancient city, at great risk to your own safety, and returned unharmed after surveying it. Compared to such rousing risk-taking, my visit to Crossbow will be child's play. As I'm sure you're aware, you're regarded as something of a hero back in Erebonia now. To see a hero make a grand return befitting his newly minted legend, and aboard the famous Arsail no less. Naturally, our hero has also taken the time to ensure that every well-known newspaper and magazine are aware of his homecoming too. Oh, I have no doubts that your triumphant arrival will be every bit as glorious as it has played out in your imaginings, your highness. Ugh. Was Prince Oliver not actually planning to go back? Do be sure to capitalize on this chance as best you can to build yourself a firm foothold. I expect great things from you after all. So, I'm guessing what just happened was that Chancellor Osborne completely saw through all of Olivier's plans. Though I can't claim to know specifically what he was thinking of doing. Oh, Sieg? I guess he can call him, but... Oh yeah, and Sieg would be hanging around Claudia right about now, so... As if Sieg is ever doing anything else. Hey, buddy. You haven't changed a bit, huh? Really? Sounds like a ton's happened, huh? But it's nice to see you and your master are doing alright. Lecter? Oh. So, yeah, I actually didn't expect for them to meet each other again so soon. Well, good day to you, your highness. I pray I'm not causing any trouble by taking a tour of the castle like this. The view from this terrace certainly is beautiful, isn't it? What happened to you, Lecter? How did you end up working for Chancellor Osborne? Huh? I'm sorry, I haven't the faintest idea what you mean. He's gonna pretend that they don't know each other. Are you perchance mistaking me for someone else? Your name is Lecter Arundel. You were the student council president at Genus Royal Academy, but you attended before leaving suddenly 2 years ago. So no, I'm not mistaking you for someone else. Ah, but that's where you're wrong, because my name is actually Lecter Arundel. This guy. That's such a goofy thing to try to pull. He can't be serious. I can certainly see how our names could become mixed up, however. They are scarily close. Still, now you know. Please, just call me Lek. Lecter Arundel? Don't try and joke around with me, Lecter. Do you have any idea how worried all of us were when you just disappeared without a word? You submitted your notice to leave the academy and then we were never seen again. And then we're never seen again. Even the otherwise calm Leo let out a cry of anger when he found out. And all Lucy could do was give a sad smile and say, "This is just like him," the whole time with tears in her eyes. Jill and Hans were heartbroken, and so was I. Yet after all that, after all this time, you finally show yourself, knowing full well that I'm here, and this is how you act? By pretending you're someone else? Lecter! Sorry. No need for the scary glare. And you're still taking things way too seriously. It looks like it'll take more than stepping up as Crown Princess to change that part of you. Oh. But you know, seeing you makes me feel kinda relieved. I always figured if someone like you became Crown Princess, you'd have virtually no freedom to do anything other than work. But from all that's reached my ears, it sounds like you're actually doing alright for yourself. And you even made some great friends after I left the academy, didn't you? Nice. I sure did. Nonetheless, it's thanks to you that I was able to change at all. You were the one who gave me the first push in the right direction. I never got the chance to thank you properly after you left. But all this time, I've always been grateful to you. Well, consider me honored. Do I get a kiss in return? You do not. I may feel respect towards you, but nothing romantic. Aw, that's a bummer. There was me, all taken in by how pretty you'd become, wondering if this could be the start of something downright magical. And what happens instead? My dreams of romance and sweet smooches are crushed to nothing before they can even begin. I know you don't mean a word of that, you know. You're looking very sharp yourself, though. It's surprising to see. Every time I've seen you before today, it was in that heavily frayed uniform worn in the most sloppy way imaginable. I think you'll find I was merely making a fashion statement. That wasn't laziness or slobbishness. Every part of it was carefully calculated and considered to have maximum effect. The scary thing is, I actually believe you. You always seemed as if you cared for nothing but having fun and causing trouble. Yet when it came down to it, you are wise beyond your years. And I've finally seen part of the reason behind that today. I'll ask you again, Lecter. How did you end up working for Chancellor Osborne like this? Just what happened to you between you submitting your notice to leave the Academy and now? Really? Honestly, I'd be more surprised if you weren't on Chancellor Osborne's payroll even before that. Actually, no, that was dumb of me to say, because I know he's an Ironblood, so he definitely was. Unless you can, like, become an Ironblood way after the fact. So these conversations are happening simultaneously then. Do you now? I have to admit, I never imagined that would be the case. On the contrary, I was expecting you to tell me to back off. Oh, Adios forbid. What reason would I have to suggest such a thing? After all, at the end of the day, our positions are functionally the same. I'm not sure I understand. Whew. Crap. Do you not think so? Personally, I find it difficult to believe that you would not harbor some hatred toward Erebonia as it is today. A grand empire clinging to the glories of a bygone era, ruled by the nobility and shackled by meaningless conventions. Am I wrong? People call me the Blood and Iron Chancellor, as though I hold the whole of Erebonia in the palm of my hand. But in reality, my position is far more tenuous. I have supporters and allies in the capital, certainly, but outside its walls, the nobility holds far more sway than any of them. And while it is true I hold a great amount of power in the form of the Imperial Army, even then, I only truly command around 70% of it. The remainder is loyal to the nobility, who also maintain their own private armies. With those factored in, my advantage shrinks substantially. So you see, I'm still very much in the midst of a battle to truly exert control. He's being really open about it. Which is why you're building railways all over the country to expand your area of influence. And you've been annexing new territory to that same end. As I've long thought, you clearly understand me better than anyone else. That is why I'll say this once again. Work with me, Your Highness. With your support, our nation will be able to bring about real reform faster than ever. The noble faction, bloated with its centuries of decadence, can be stopped before they even have the chance to unify against us. Not that the noble factions actually even amount to much. Surely that's what you desire more than anything. Let me just ask a simple question, Chancellor. What connection do you have with Ouroboros? I'm afraid I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I will say this, however. I'm a firm believer in using every resource at my disposal in the name of achieving reform. That's the way I believe in handling politics. I see. Well, it certainly does seem as though we would see eye to eye in many ways. And that's all the more reason why I am afraid I must refuse your offer. Is that so? Yes, I find it difficult to like the rotten noble faction that exists in the Empire. Or, perhaps you're right that hate is the more appropriate word. But my feelings of fear towards your methods are far greater than my feelings of hatred towards the nobles. What you seem to be doing is trying to compel Erebonians with a delusive utopia, to whip them into an enthusiastic frenzy. No doubt by successfully convincing the people, the old guard will fall into the metaphorical firestorm created. And yet by then, the gears will have already begun turning. There will be no satisfying a roused populace with a thirst for revolution. The storm will just keep growing larger and more ravenous, engulfing anything and everything in its wake. You know this, don't you, Chancellor? But of course! After all, that's what I intend to happen. It's the first stage of my reforms. Ugh. I'd be more than happy to share further details with you if you were to decide to work with me, Your Highness. In the meantime, I wish you well in strengthening your foothold back in the Empire. Of course, if that's your intention, you'll find it a necessity to work with those nobles you so despise. Huh, you truly do see through everything, don't you? Well, that sounds like the noon bell. The airship should be arriving shortly. Which means it's time for me to take my leave, I'm afraid. I look forward to seeing you again in the capital in 2 weeks' time. Is he... Okay, I thought Olivier was gonna get one last thing in. Now it's time for Mueller to be cued in on everything that just happened. I take it the discussion is over then. What's wrong? You look awfully tired. Oh, nothing. I'm just feeling odd and new at what a monster I decided to pick a fight with. So that's their conversation. And now we're gonna find out about Lecter. Oopsie. I think it's probably about time for the airship to arrive. I'm gonna have to stop you there and get going. What? See ya, Sieg. Next time I see you, I'll bring you some Erebonian salami as a souvenir, okay? Alright? Wait! Are you planning to just disappear without telling me anything a second time? Oh, got an important question for you. Did you fall in love with someone while I was away? Something tells me that Lecter already knows the answer to that question. Hit the nail on the head, huh? Aw, that's so cute! First love, right? How's that feel? Heart all aflutter 1 minute, end of the world the next? Don't you dare start teasing me! But you're right, though. I did. He rejected me in this very spot not that long ago. Wait, you're joking, right? There's a coincidence I didn't see coming. I'm not so sure about that. It feels like you know everything sometimes. I'm not some kind of all-knowing, all-seeing divinity. That's what makes the world so interesting to me. He stole Reen's signature move again! Oh. I'm happy for you, Chloe. Knowing the pain of lost love's what makes a girl blossom, in my humble opinion. Do you feel like the whole experience lets you get a step closer to the person you want to be? Well... What about you? Do you feel you're getting closer to becoming the person that you want to be? By being at the Chancellor's side? Kinda hard to do that when I don't have a person I want to be to begin with. I'm just sticking with him because it feels like it'll be fun. That's all. I've been doing it since before I joined the academy, in fact. You have? Yeah, he's an Ironblood. That prince is proving surprisingly capable, but he still isn't a match for the Chancellor. Tell him to watch his back, alright? So that he doesn't get swallowed up by that monster after he gets tired of dancing. Wow. The sayonara. Goodbye, Lecter. So... interesting. Lecter's got history with quite a few people. And it doesn't look like there are any more unique character models here, so... Thank you all for waiting. The Calabria International Airliner bound for the Principality of Remiferia will be departing momentarily. Please mind your footing when boarding. So they're going to Remiferia. Interesting. Very interesting. All that exerted influence. So Lecter was the first of the Ironbloods to show up then, but obviously, yeah, in the Arabonia games, we saw way more of them. But I guess, because I'm fairly certain, I think someone's mentioned it, but Lecter, he shows up a lot in the Crossbell games. Oh no, I don't think someone's mentioned it. I think, what's his face? Lloyd and Risha talk about Lecter in the advertisement. So that was the Blood and Iron Chancellor. I can't believe he actually went out of his way to use a civilian airship when he probably has a private one of his own. I'd heard rumors about how out of the ordinary he is, but he lives up to all of them. He keeps me on my toes, to put it playfully enough. Him aside, thanks for coming all the way to see me off, Shara. I was lucky I just happened to have business here at the right time. It feels like this is going to be the last chance we get to see one another for a while, after all. Rather unfortunate, as my dream is and always was to live away my days in the lap of luxury surrounded by women as beautiful as you. Well, good luck with that. Changing the subject, though. Who was the young man at the Chancellor's side? He didn't strike me as your ordinary guy. Oh, you could tell. But of course, I'd say I'm used to running into people who are out of the ordinary at this point. We've sure fought enough of them. His name's Lecter Arundel. He's a secretary who was sent here by the Imperial government. Apparently, he was the one who planned out all the details of the Chancellor's visit to Liberl. I can't pretend to know much regarding his background, but he's exceptionally skilled at what he does. Actually, I know a little. Wow! What? Oh? Is that true? Yes. Claudia explained that Lecter once attended the same academy as her and had served as its student council president. She also mentioned about his sudden disappearance after the academy festival 2 years ago. Unbelievable. Then, someone connected to the Chancellor had visited Liberl first. Then he's very likely to have had his own veritable information network established here long before I even came up with the idea. I think it's safe for us to assume that's the case. Which also means that it's safe to assume he knows every detail about all that's happened here since. From the coup d'etat to the crisis regarding the Oriole. All of it. This man gets more unbelievable by the minute. He actually gave me a message to pass on to you earlier too. Watch your back, so you don't get swallowed up by that monster when you get tired of dancing. So when Olivier decides to finally get serious, and then that's gonna force Osborne to get serious too. But serious Olivier and serious Osborne are two very different things, I'm assuming. He sure knows how to sting where it hurts, doesn't he? I feel like I can see a whole new world of pleasure opening up before my eyes! He should know better. Getting outdone at every turn like this is really not my style. What do you mean? Captain Schwartz? I have a little favor I'd like to ask for when we're in the air. What's the favor? Are we gonna tail them? The wild part of my imagination is like, are we gonna blow them out of the sky and just kill them right now? And everybody on board commit a war crime? I'm rather impressed with how Prince Oliver has come along. No matter how he chooses to act from here on, he will have his uses to be certain. You would say that, given that you think of everyone as your pawns. There's me, the prince, that society. Indeed, and I am much the same. We are but pawns on the vast game board that is the Empire, where a thrill like no other will take place. But it's because you too wish to see how that game plays out that you've chosen to stand with me, is it not? Well, hey, what can I say? Just don't forget that this piece right here might not be loyal forever. And such a betrayal will be perfectly fine by me. Or did you honestly think I'd never considered the possibility it may happen? Just thought I'd come out and say it. How are the other Ironbloods doing, by the way? That's the first time they've used that term in the series, I'm assuming. They're all doing very well by the sound of it. At the rate things are going, there's a chance all of the prince's efforts will be for naught. Perhaps I ought to hold back on him a little. You sure don't pull any punches, do you? So, I'm guessing from this conversation, it's basically guaranteed that Lecter's gonna become a good guy at some point down the line. Probably in Cold Steel 3 or 4, but he's not gonna remain loyal forever. He's barely loyal as it is. I wouldn't write him off so easily if I were in your shoes. What? What exactly are we doing, though? Are we gonna just race them to Remiferia or something? What is even going on right now? What? So do the laws of physics just not apply? These look like rose petals? If you look out the windows on the right-hand side of the airship, you will be able to see the famous high-speed cruiser, the Arsail. We've been informed that it is on its way to the imperial capital, Prince Oliver of the Erebonian Empire, on board. But he has also given us a message to relay to all of the passengers on board today. I give thanks to Adios for the good fortune to have been able to meet you today. May your journey be filled with beautiful roses and her blessings. And of course, may your journey to your homes be a safe and pleasant one. That marks the end of his message. So orbits are basically the wildest kind of magic known to man, because rose petals should not have worked that way in the air whatsoever. Maybe whatever orbital field keeps us from being ripped apart by the G-forces out up here, or the atmosphere or whatever, are the same ones that kept the rose petals milling about. I never thought there was a bigger dumbass in this world than me, and yet here we are. Very well, debaucherous prince. I look forward to seeing what you can do. Show me how long you can hold out against me. Huh. So that was basically Olivier's declaration of war, I'm sure. Side story, Return to the Empire finished. Divine Eye. 7,000 Mira. What's the Divine Eye? That sounds interesting. Orbment. Here it is. Scent, Eagle Eye, Information, Septium Vein, Fortune. That's pretty good. But it would be best on Charizard though. Crap. Okay. We're gonna have to up that slot. Or maybe I might not even give it to Kevin. Well, we'll do more doors. I'm probably gonna grind out the fishing battles, and then we're gonna move on into the 6th plane, just so we don't have that hanging over our heads. But that is all gonna be next time though, so definitely join me then for more Trails in the Sky the 3rd. Bye for now, guys.